Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. After 9 years, that's it. Stranger Things is done. 9 years, 5 seasons, 42 episodes. Crazy. This show used to be one of my favorite shows of the last decade. Probably it still is, even after this season, which I'll talk about. Before I delve into this season, I want to say that this show is a big achievement. I think what Netflix did in the first 4 seasons were really, really great. And with the Duffer Brothers really created something unique that was different to what other people are doing in the TV scene. I think they brought that nostalgic feel, even though I'm not from the 80s, I'm a 90s kid. They still made me nostalgic for the 80s. I think that's a great achievement. The visual effects, for the most part, were great. The storytelling was great. I love the characters, and I love how dark it went without ever going overboard on the like R-ratedness, which it never was, but it still pushed some R-rated things. But yeah, I'm gonna say I will really miss the show. Okay, a few weeks back, I reviewed Volume 1 of Season 5, and I thought the first couple of episodes were a bit slow. You know, it was taking its time to get into the season and the story, but the last two I thought were really great. The action was great, the storytelling was ramping up, and then we had that long ass 1 month break, which was really annoying. I think this show should have been weekly. For me personally, I think it would have been better paced. Either way, on Christmas Day, they released Volume 2 with 3 episodes, and the final episode to Season 5 was released on New Year's Eve. Okay, I did not review Volume 2 because I thought I'll just wait for the final and just review the whole season and the show as a whole, and this is in this video. And by the way, I'll be talking spoilers in this video, so if you have not seen Season 5, I would recommend to turn this video off, watch it, and then come back. Okay, what did I think? I think Volume 2 was disappointing. I did not like most of the things. In those episodes, I was quite bored. I think the characters, like the developments were okay, but like some character moments were odd. Some character moments were mishandled. Some character interactions were really awkward. I feel like especially Mike and how he interacts towards his family in comparison to how he interacts to Elle was weird. Like, dude, your mom just got attacked. She nearly died. Your father nearly died. Your sister's missing, and your older sister is just stuck in the upside down. And the whole season, his face was like, when it comes to like Elle, he gets so emotional or like cares about her. I get it, they're best friends, they're lovers, they're a couple, but like I think his interactions with his friends are different to his family. I think he should have been a bit more emotional towards what happens to his family. That was one of my gripes. But my main issue for these episodes were the pacings. I think the episodes are too long and it's paced awkwardly. I don't know, it's just they were concentrating on just too many characters, and then they just built up these characters, and then they're nearly in every scene. Or like when they divide, they have to show all these group of characters one by one, and it's just like I was like, I can't keep up, man. There's literally like 20 characters. That's that's one thing Marvel does great with Avengers films. They pace it well, even though those are films and this is a TV show. Either way, I think there were too many characters in this season, like Holly and her friends being kidnapped by Mr. Watson, or just Wagner. I thought those scenes were really boring. They did not add anything apart from just tension that was not earned or built up correctly for me. So they could have just chopped those scenes out or just had another character be featured in those scenes. Like, we did not need to see Holly and her friends this much. Even though I love Derek, I think he's the best character from this season. But like, we just did not need to see them. That was one of my issues as well with the pacing. I don't know. It's just those 3 episodes were a bit on the poor side compared to the first 4 episodes. It was good to see Max coming back, but like it was just predictable, man. This is what I think. I think Max should have died in season 4. It would have built up the tension more for the final season. And then her coming back, I don't know, it just undermines what happens. I know the main characters are like, they're not gonna die, but like this show just doesn't have any casualties, and because of that, there's no consequences apart from one casualty, which I'll talk later on. But what I will say that the CGI is good. With the Demogorgons, those scenes in the hospital were handled well. Which was directed by Sean Levy, which I thought he did a great job as always. But yeah, just these episodes were a bit on the boring side for me, and the penultimate episode was a letdown compared to season 4 and like the past seasons. The episode before the final is always like a banger, and it just builds up everything. This one it did not. It featured Will's coming out scene, which I thought they handled it well, and the actor for Will, he did a good job. Even though I did not enjoy his acting this season all that much, but like obviously I'm not bothered about that scene like many other people. But what bothers me is the length, and when it compares to something else that happens in the finale, that's when I was bothered. Okay, let's talk about the final. I think the final episode was so many emotions. I think it was built up well. I was really enjoying it, and then it was a letdown. Then it went back to being classic Stranger Things, and it was beautiful. So there were a lot of emotions for me after watching the finale. Okay, the joyful and like the what I enjoyed is the build up to the final fight with Vecna and the Mind Flayer. I think the build up was good, even if it was too long. It was like nearly 40 minutes or like an hour. I can't remember, but it was most of the episode was the build up, which I thought it was handled well. There were some good action scenes with Eleven and Hopper. Every puzzle piece was piecing in nicely, and I think it was, it was getting that momentum back compared to the previous 3 episodes. I feel like this should have been the penultimate episode, and then the rest should have been the final episode, because this final was 2 hours long. Like I said, the build up was good. Some character interactions we haven't seen before, and like some resolutions to some characters, development and their stories, like Dustin and Steve or Steve and Jonathan. I think those scenes were good. But once they go to the other world, and I forgot to mention, the Upside Down is a wormhole to another world. I did not like that at all. I think it was creative, but I don't like that they made the Upside Down an alien wormhole, and then these demigorgons are like aliens. It became too sci-fi for me. I did not enjoy that. I like the mystery aspect of the Upside Down, and I think they should have kept it like that. They did not have to explain what the Upside Down is at all. Like, it was working so well up until this point, and then once they said it's an interdimensional wormhole to another planet, I was like, dude, I'm lost. Like, you just lost me. They did not have to make it alien. Anyway, so the main group has to go to the other world to find Vecna and kill him. That's the whole setup. And then once they go, that's the letdown happened. Dude, the CGI on the abyss, the planet they go, was horrible. It looks like one of those Linkin Park music videos. If you've seen the episode, you know what I mean. This green screen was terrible, man. Oh my god. It was like early 2000s green screen. I feel like all of the budget went into Demigorgons and the Mind Flayer. And yeah, the Mind Flayer is back. Finally. He's the big bad guy alongside Vecna throughout the final, and he just lasts 5 minutes. That's my issue, which I will talk more. But like, the CGI on the Mind Flayer was great, but every time they cut to the human characters, it was horrible. But anyway, the final fight was actually like, what, 5 minutes against the Mind Flayer? I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? It was only like 5 or 6 minutes. That's the problem I had. Will's coming out scene was longer than the actual final fight. Like, I for character development, I know it made sense for him to, come out with all the family and friends. Like I said, I didn't have an issue with that scene. It's just, why was that longer or felt longer than the actual final fight? And I'm sure the final fight was shorter. I mean, dude, what the actual hell? Like, you had 1 hour of setup. You could have cut more from the setup and made, into the final fight. I'm sure it was budgetary reasons and why there were no demigorgons. You go to Vecna's home turf and there's no like other monsters that you have to fight. They already established that demigorgons are from that world. They're not from the Upside Down. The Duffer Brothers said, oh, Vecna didn't expect them to, come to his home turf. I was like, still though, there's no like bats or demigorgons or dogs. It's just like nothing. It was so easy that they defeated the Mind Flayer and Vecna. That was so disappointing. It was a letdown. Even though Joyce killing Vecna was great, I think like narratively it made sense, but the overall final fight was shit. I'm not gonna lie, I did not enjoy it. Even if the Mind Flayer CGI to me was very good. But yeah, after they defeat that, they are coming back, and then Eleven makes the ultimate sacrifice by destroying the Upside Down, and then it's up to interpretation. Did she like die in the Upside Down, or did she escape? But anyway, so she disappears, cut to 18 months later, and it's all the resolution and what happened to these characters, which was like 40 minutes of epilogue, which I thought was great. That was the beautiful part. I really enjoyed those scenes. It was like classic Stranger Things. The character interactions these characters had made me bittersweet, and it's just all the emotions of like the last 9 to 10 years of the show came back to me, I was like, dude, I'm really gonna miss these characters. That's the best part of the finale, the ending. I think they ended on a strong note for me. I really enjoyed the epilogue and the actual final scene of Mike and the gang playing D&D, and then putting their character books. I don't play D&D. I don't know what the actual book is called, like a lore book. Anyway, they put it on the shelf as a goodbye, and then they start crying. I was like tearing up, man. I was like, I remember these kids playing D&D in season 1, season 2, season 3, and then they grew up, and I grew up with them, and then now it's ending. It was actually bittersweet, and I think it was a beautiful ending. But Elle sacrificing herself, that's the ultimate sacrifice this show had. Like that's the only main character they kind of killed off. Like I said, it's up to interpretation that if she died or not. I think she died, and what we see with like Mike's explanation of how she could have escaped, I think it's his coping mechanism for his grief, and he doesn't want to believe she died. She's just in a different part of the world enjoying her life, and that was really sad to think about. But still, that was one of my issues. Like they only had one main character casualty. Come on, man. Like the stakes were too high for not more people to get killed or something. Anyway, though, what do I think about season 5? It is definitely my least favorite season. It's overall, it was a kind of a letdown. The stakes were too high for the show, I feel like, because even if the stakes were really, really high, what we end up seeing was a letdown. It wasn't that high, and they should have continued what they did with season 4. I think season 4 was amazing. The stakes and the problems in season 4 felt bigger than season 5 because of how the filmmaking was handled. Like some of the writings and then the character interactions were boring. It was too slow. It wasn't paced well. And I don't know. It's I would say season 5 is watchable, even though it's my least favorite. As overall, I didn't enjoy it that much, apart from some fucking amazing scenes, like in episode 4 when Will starts controlling the Demogorgons and killing them, and all the scenes after the final fight, the epilogue. I think it was beautiful, but like apart from those, they should have done a better job. And we waited 3 years for this, and then that's what we get for season 5. Like I said, it's watchable. It's not terrible for me. Like a lot of people say it's like horrible. It's the worst thing ever. It's not, guys. Come on. It's like, at least it's watchable, and there's some good moments, some good character interactions, but Stranger Things is done. And overall, like I said, as a series, I think it's very good. It could have been amazing. If they handled the final season well enough, it could have been amazing and like literally one of my favorite TV shows of the last 20 years. But it just ended up being very, very good because of how mediocre season 5 was. Either way, though, that's my thoughts. I know it's all jumbled, but I didn't have any script for this video. I just sat down and then just talked to the camera, and I just talked as if I would talk to a friend. I just had to get my thoughts out. But either way, guys, let me know down below, what did you think of Stranger Things season 5? Was it a letdown for you like it was for me, or did you actually enjoy it? And which season is your favorite season? To be honest, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4 are all great. I know people don't like season 2 and 3 that much. I think they're great. And personally, I think season 3 is still my favorite, with season 1 and 4 being very close. But yeah, this show is done, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see everyone on the next video.